Must have maybe having some fun there, as he did look excellent on the champion, but Legacy gonna respect it. We've seen it flexed a lot by different people as well. Fizzban, I love this. That's a Minky special.
Yeah, it certainly is. As soon as you give Minky a semblance of a carry top laner, able to put in work, you know, Minky is the other player that has been playing a little bit of Echo from what I've seen on him. Plays it up there in the top lane, plays it a tanky AP assassin up there as well. So, you know, a lot of people taking these, I guess, flex versatile pseudo AP champions, playing him in the top lane, and Minky's very good at it.
Yeah, Minky can play just about anything. Was a former mid laner competitively, been in the top lane for quite a while and has a lot of experience there. There's another jungle ban there, but this time on the other side, Legacy takeaway Rek'Sai.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that. Jubes does a lot of work early game when he gets something like Rek'Sai, but I am expecting that to mean a Gragas first pick. They go with Ryze, which is very strong at the moment, but that will give the Gragas over, and, you know, Jubes needs an early game jungler.
It does. I mean, Carbon, again, pretty specific on his champion pool as far as junglers go, but certainly a Gragas player here as well. You can really tell how much Sin values a champion like Ryze, though, with the first pick. And Rosie, he is, again, much like Minky, a very strong carry player.
Yeah, he's a great mechanical player coming through there, so Ryze is going to suit him, going to be able to chain up those snares. Just so good late game now. 6 items, very good. Between like 3 and 4, I think he falls away a little bit, but with double items, still very durable in the top lane.
Yeah, and Rosie, the sort of player that does like to bully people, have probably that opportunity here in the matchup, although Minky will have a lot of experience in this matchup, and of course, just in general in the top lane, because Rosie this season was new to the role. Not too long left for Legacy to pick. We've talked about their drafts when they've looked good. It's been through a lot of strong drafting, even in some of their losses, so these first 2 picks are very important.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they do go with the Gragas. This allows the ability. Wow, Gragas as well as Alistar. Like, I don't know, if there was a Yasuo comp, they're 2 great champions to start with.
They are indeed, but remember, Rymeister, they actually share a lot of champions choosing Rymeister, despite not playing the same things, maybe this particular season. So I think the mid lane's going to be contentious. Legacy probably going to look to last pick their mid laner here. We'll see what Sing want to go with.
Yeah, I'm expecting for probably a jungle pick to come out right now. We've also seen the fact that they love to rub the Janna and Caitlyn. That's still available. Real possibility in the bottom lane. Abuses the fact that Alistar very melee support, so that might be something that Cardred and Trashboat can take into them.
Yeah, and important to remember, Cardred as well played a lot of Caitlyn so far in, I think, is it only Caitlyn so far? Yep, there we go.
The Caitlyn player.
He is indeed here. We saw Cardred and Trashboat bring out the Caitlyn Janna that starting to pick up popularity here in the OPL. 12 seconds left now for Sin. Not too much time left to decide where they want to go with their draft. They've got a lot of options open to them. Already closing off a solo lane kind of means that you've tipped your hand a little bit, and Legacy's first 2 picks were brilliant, but they'll stick to their guns. Cardred, I was about to say Cardred, I meant Caitlyn, but it's kind of the same thing. Caitlyn Janna again.
Yeah, exactly right. And, you know, I'm not surprised to see this, especially with Alistar picked up, just because of the fact it's very hard to combo because you get blown out of it by the Janna. Also, keep yourself very safe at range with Caitlyn. Hard to get on top of here. And honestly, Cardred has always looked at his best on scaling late game carries that have some element of laning phase bully, and, you know, that is exactly Caitlyn's kit to a T.
Yeah, and Cardred, that's kind of the other story here. These are his former teammates in Legacy. They won a championship together, but Tally formerly the top lane, now moving into that AD carry role for this particular year. It's going to be interesting to see how well Legacy know Cardred can play to his tendencies, but of course Cardred going to want to just smash Tally.
Yeah, exactly right. Wants to prove that he is a superior laner down there. Tallywacker, he's had some ups and downs in the AD carry position. Plays absolutely everything. In fact, his best game was probably on Ezreal, and I don't know many people in the OPL can say that at the moment, but he goes towards something different again, goes for the Corki. This is a champion that trades really well with Caitlyn.
It is, again, and something more aggressive. I like to see that on Tally, but a Z here for Choo Choo is very boring. No Yasuo.
Yeah, but it leaves Minky the last pick, so they don't know whether it's Rhyme right now on the rise in the mid lane or whether it is something that Rosie's going to take up there. So allowing the flexibility of Minky, who is one of the carries of the team, don't just expect him to play tanks up there, to be on something that could have an impact on the early game. I expect it to be AD because they have a lot of magic damage so far, but we'll have to see what he goes with.
I actually love that they're able to flex and really kind of figure out the draft and be like, you know what, we need to make sure we have a strong counter pick or a strong safe mid lane pick because of exactly what you said. So maybe not as exciting, but smart drafting from Legacy.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, it gives them a little bit more of an aspect of appeal, means that they can shove people off them if the engage starts going awry. Does get a little bit susceptible to poke as the game goes on, and That would be an interesting pick.
Is Juve's going to go all in? He is. We've got the Z there for Rymar, so that's what we've seen already. But Lee Sin here for Juve's with junglers shredded in the picks.
Yeah, exactly right. We spoke about the fact Rek'Sai gone. Greg gets picked up. Juves likes to play early game junglers, so he just goes all in, chucks the dice on the table and says, I'll just still play Lee Sin, guys. Don't really have a care in the world about it. Got some AP in the top lane. That unlocks the Z in the middle lane for Rymeister, and all of a sudden, Sin's lineup looks like fireworks are going to be happening from about level 3 onwards.
Yep, it does indeed. I mean, Rymeister loves to be aggressive. I actually like the matchup. I think it's very close. And with two talented mid laners, it'll be nice and skill intensive there. But we mentioned AD there for Minky. There is a chance you would pick the SO for the top lane, but whatever he picks, it's going to probably be maybe more of a carry because they have a good front line already.
They need something that can actually go in a split push because right now they've got Ryze who will be able to chase a lot of people out of a split push scenario mid game. Then they've got the Zed, who late game will probably be relegated to split pushing. They've also got a very good core on Sin's lineup. They've got the disengage from Lee Sin, disengage from Janna, long range coming through there from the Caitlyn. So, you know what? Shen, I wouldn't be surprised. It is locked in.
It is.
They need someone to answer split push.
I mean, sure, we'll take Shen here for Minky. Well, curious to see how he builds it more than anything else, but this is a very old school champion.
Yeah, it certainly is. Able to port around the map. He's the worst ninja in the world, but he's a very good split pushing tank.
He is indeed. And Minky, lots of experience, of course, in League. He's been playing for a long, long time and competing in the region for a long time as well. Always pulls out something funny, whether it's a tank or a carry. And this time it's more of a tank, but Minky Shen.
Yeah, so, you know, Shen got some quality life changes. Yep. He got MR per level added back to his kit, so thumbs up there. He's a little bit more better in lane against more better. That's not English. He's better in lane against tanks. Able to itemize very well because he does get HP back through his Q. So, you know, Spirit Visage is a very clean itemization for him. And he's one of those champions that benefits a lot from a late game Trinity Force. Makes him very relevant. Balmy Cinder, also a good item. He loves the Sunfire Cape, loves the Cinder early game. So there are certain things that have happened over time that he didn't get one huge buff and become relevant again, but slowly but surely he has crept back.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Finally well positioned here potentially as far as changes go. Seems, you know, playable again, which is nice for a lot of these old school Shen players. But I have to ask you, what's the matchup like? Because that's the first thing.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, Merc Tread's going to be a must up there in the lane because you have to, like, that is the first item against Ryze right now. Unless you play Xin Zhao and just try and kill the guy, you go Merc Treads because you cannot escape from the Rune Prism otherwise. He's going to just be relegated to farming. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be a tough matchup here, but it's very hard to push Shen off a creep wave.
Yeah, and as we can see there as well, the team comes here with Minky throwing in a bit of fun there with Shen for our last game, but this is going to be a close one, guys. Let us know who you think is going to win on Twitter by using the hashtag SinWin, the best hashtag, or LGC Win there for Sin and Legacy respectively.
You like SinWin?
It's a great hashtag.
I love AbsWin.
Okay, you got me.
Yeah.
I always think of Australian Bureau of Statistics. It's just like,
wow, that's deep.
It is.
Yeah, but yeah, as we have Sin coming up against Legacy here, and you know, you mentioned the grudge match here for Kadru coming back up against his old team. We mentioned the fact that there's a throw pack pick in the top lane with the Shen, so we'll have to see how it works out.
We will. I mean, Minky, again, always the person that likes to challenge convention. He likes to get creative. If there's a pick at the forefront of the game or something that he thinks is good, he's the sort of player that will just play it. In fact, Chuchus is kind of like that as well, but in a different way, where he'll just play whatever he thinks is good, even if it's not good.
Yeah, so will Tallywhacker. Tallywhacker likes to get onto things that he thinks very strong. So the whole team that coming through from Legacy lineup, they very much are like that. They trust each other. They trust their jungler especially, and they've piecemealed together a good lineup. I like the fact that they had someone to answer the split pushing, so we're going to have to see if they can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sin's got a great lineup here as well. We talked about the first pick Ryze. That's there for Rosie coming in. I love the Caitlyn Janna that's being played again. You already mentioned that Janna is very strong with the Caitlyn, but one of her issues is that she doesn't lane very well. One of the few lanes you can actually get away with sort of not beating, but at least staying in is probably the Alstar one.
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll have to see whether the sustain helps out there. Really able to get them through that laning phase.
Well, with that, we are going to throw back into the studio to get ourselves into our last game.
Thank you very much, Patient Time and Spawn. I'm Atlas. This is Rusty, and we're about to get into our final match of the evening. Of course, Legacy taking on Sin. And what I love about this matchup is it's Rymeister accepting the fact that he is an assassin player.
He basically started this split going more the Azir Cassiopeia route. It was a different Rymeister to what we saw in the Challenger series.
It wasn't the Rymeister that we wanted, though, was it, Rusty?
It wasn't. Rymeister has changed it up. He's become the Rymeister that we wanted and has gone back to his assassin roots, where he's Diana, he's Zed, everything. Even to a degree, you could say his Azir was quite
his Echo.
assassin-like. And his Echo. He has a lot of assassin options. He's finally gone back to his comfort picks, and he's already doing so much work with it so far.
Yeah, and I want to look at the top lane. Of course, one thing I really love is the fact that Rosie's picked up the rise. Of course, Rosie has always been a fantastic caster player, regardless of whether he was in the mid lane or in the bottom lane. Of course, I remember the days of his Karma, of course, down there in the bottom lane. Blitzcrank, fantastic.
Yeah.
Land skill shots, his mechanical play is brilliant, but on Rise now in the top lane, it's sort of an understandable change-up here for Rosie, and of course, a gigantic pick at the moment. But how will it go into the Shen?
It's very interesting. As Spawn mentioned earlier, Shen being changed in the latest patch has the magic resistance per level and a small bolster on the flat amount of magic resistance that a Shen starts with. All big factors into why it's being able to be picked against the Rise. They may look for that lane swap. They may not want the 1v1. But if they are in the 1v1 scenario, Rise is always going to have control just because of the raw range advantage that he possesses. The fact he can throw out spells on such a low cooldown. But in saying that, the Shen is a resourceless champion, essentially. Has the energy, but that early in the game, you're going to be throwing out shields, and you're going to be throwing out your Q. You don't need to taunt, and that is when you start to run low on your energy. You're sitting in lane, and you have so much sustain because of the effective bonus health from that shield that you're actually quite comfortable. Maybe start with a Doran shield here on Minky, and just sit in lane and try your best to not die.
Weather the storm.
Weather the storm of Rise. Once he gets that tier, the kill pressure is actually almost in your favor.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it works out. Ladies and gentlemen, as we hop onto the Rift, Sin taking on Legacy. And we'll see whether it is going to be a lane swap from Legacy. Because you have to think that this Janna Caitlyn lane has been so oppressive. And even when it's just a Caitlyn, it's difficult to deal with.
Yeah, it's definitely very difficult. Having that extra damage that can come out from Trash by putting the shield down onto the Caitlyn, ridiculously hard. It's essentially a 1v2 matchup where the Janna is offensively using the shield, so it becomes infinitely more difficult in that bot lane. And we'll see how that does pan out as Sin are looking for that 2v1 or looking to prevent that 2v1 right now.
Yeah, Cinemo's definitely just making sure they know where these lane swaps are going to be coming in. We'll see where they position Cardred and Trashboat just to see whether they can guarantee any sort of lane swap or
I like it.
Answer.
They're aware of the fact that Tally is about to be visible going to that top lane, I think.
Actually, they are backing
not.
away, though. Interesting. Trashboat
What
headed
about
back
this
to
one?
lane, but...
Second time's the charm, right?
Oh, cute. Moves up, is going to back off, but they've got the extra ward.
Now you can see the side of Sin sitting in the mid lane, waiting to see if there is an AD carry spotted by the ward.
Oh, they saw him. They
Shen.
saw Minky Whale.
Now they can walk very free as you would like to your respective 2v2 matchup, which they were looking for. They have now found. Well done to Sin, placing all of the relevant wards. That's a very new one to me, though, I think, having that ward in the bush there, but spots him.
Yep, very cute. And that was just a flicker of Shen. And of course, it's pretty ironic. I love it. You know, the beauty of the Shen's the one that gives up his position as the ninja.
Yeah.
Just known as being a pretty crap ninja.
You compare that to the Corki in a toboggan, and he's infinitely harder to actually spot. But
Hey, at least it's not going to make any like mechanical noises. I mean, it's a toboggan.
yeah, just not thematically accurate. Either way, they spot the 1v1 in the top lane. They get the 2v2 in the bot lane, and Minky is actually doing quite well so far. Rosie, only being level 1, has to respect the raw trade capabilities of his Shen, even at level 1.
Yeah, he's got the Kai Strike as well, so effectively an extra ability there in that lane. Is Cardred with a gigantic shot onto Tallywhacker there.
It's such a hard lane to be in. The range that a Caitlyn has, the fact that Trashboat can be offensively stanced to use auto attacks because you have that shield, and Caitlyn always going to be in range to throw down autos.
Oh my goodness. And that was a powered up Peacemaker as well from that Eye of the Storm that Trashboat's so good at putting on at exactly the right time. Tallywhacker just takes another cheeky one there. But does this lane ever turn around for Corki? Of course, your burst trading potential is very strong. Can he get to a point where he can utilize it?
I mean, there's a chance where it can turn around with the Phage pickup, but you'll be looking at a BF sword Caitlyn, who will then have the Eye of the Storm bonus damage. So essentially, no.
No is the simple answer, Mac.
To put it simply, no. But there are opportunities where you can actually out trade. If the Corki can get in range to have a match trade, put down the Phosphorus Bomb and get an auto. Hello, Juice.
Speaking of a difficult trade, Rymeister going to give a safeguard target to Juice, but he's not having a great time. Carbon schooling him around here just a little bit as they battle for the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, being knocked for 6, Carbon very heavy on the pressure, not actually killed.
Oh, Rymeister going very aggressive onto Choose here. Carbon, of course, was still hanging around, so Rymeister not looking to go too aggressive, but definitely getting his message across.
Speaking of aggressive, you can see Flying Jude now level 3, trying to stance himself in a much more aggressive position to try and zone away at the very least the Janna and give the threat of the Caitlyn going down as Carbon. He's looking. Ooh. There's no shadows.
Yeah, the Living Shadow wasn't taken here by Rymeister, though able to get back to his turret. But two more auto attacks, not enough. Rymeister is going to be forced to go back, though, and Choo Choo is going to be able to have some free time in this lane.
Yeah, he's actually in a very good position here, Choo Choo's. They forced nothing, actually, in terms of summoner spells from Rymeister, which is why he's still hanging around. Has Lee Sin in the wings and looking to... This is a fairly obvious bait, to say the least, but Choo Choo's likes to kill lane opponents. There's a chance he'll still go through.
Good point. It's definitely a good point. Juve's only level 3, though. Carbon making his way back around. No wards here for Sin. And with this lane pushing, Rymeister does not want it to freeze on him or to stay up. Choo Choo's in, and no, he cannot move
He's
forward.
trying to bait, but Carbon just hanging around, expecting Juves to be here also. Carbon, a very clairvoyant jungler, so to speak, will recognize when someone's going to be around. Juves looking to reset this wave, but he's spotting a Gragas.
Yeah, Rymeister trying to give him a target there for that safeguard. He's trying to make it close enough, and he does get there. So Sin going to be able to get out of here, but it's just so much of an advantage given over to Choo Choo's.
Yeah, all in all, smart play from Legacy there. They actually school around the side of Juves in mid and jungle, and they find the small advantage, but it is still an advantage. 9 CS to Choo Choo's, and they're going to be able to recall on equal footing. But Rymeister's still hanging around to try and get some last hits. He's in a very volatile position.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult here in the mid lane. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, the CS has been evened out and actually gained an advantage here for Tallywhacker. He's done a great job pushing this lane back out again. You have to hand that a lot to Flying Jew to be able to really keep the aggression in that lane.
They hit that level 3 mark and suddenly the Alistar just got randomly aggressive and Carbon wasn't actually visible on the map. So Sin, in a way, zoning themselves out. Caitlyn not able to play as aggressive as she was originally stanced, just respecting where the Gragas could be. And they find themselves still in a very good position, only 2 CS behind it as we speak, but being able to find your way back in as Corki is a very good position.
One thing I want to talk about is the fact that Rymeister, when he was here last week, was talking to us a lot about back timings, and yet again, managed to go back at exactly the right time to catch as far back up in CS as he possibly could. He got it to a 3 CS margin here before he head back to base, and he'll be able to pick up this wave as it gets to the tower as well. So intelligent back movements from Rymeister to make sure that he's handling this lane as well as possible, because things were looking bad.
Absolutely. Finds himself recalling with the right amount of gold, very thankfully. He gets a ward and red pots with that cutlass, where if he was recalling when we first saw him attempting to, he would not have had enough for probably just the cutlass alone.
No, may not have even been able to get a Vamp Scepter either. So, look, of course, champions have made it towards that level 6 mark, as Minky Well does get his stand united. We'll see whether his movements around the map are going to be a little bit more pronounced, as Rosty's going to scratch his nose as the pause does come through.
Well spotted, Max.
Yeah.
Well spotted.
I like it. He's got an itchy nose. It's
yeah,
fun.
I do.
Yeah,
Thank you for pointing that one out, though.
I'm not having a go. I'm not having a laugh.
No.
All right. Just saying. You know, this was a good segue. Bad segue. We've had some bad segues this evening. But, of course, it is a pause. So we were allowed to talk a bit silly at this stage. But, of course, at this moment, level 6s has been hit. And I like this because, of course, it is a bit of a power spike mark for a lot of these teams. So who does this mean the most for? I'm thinking Corki here for the Rockets, but am I wrong?
Corki always relevant for the Rockets. It provides a little bit of poke and just some lane control. Even if you're being zoned by that Caitlyn, you can continue to last hit. But in terms of level 6 power spikes, you look at that Zed. He has the Cutlass finished. There's a big potential for outplays now because he's got the Shadow. But remember, it's a 1-second cooldown before you can go back. That's enough time for Azir to use his Emperor's Divide, push you into your own turret, or push you into the opposition turret perhaps, and just put down so much damage that the trade ends up favoring the Azir. So power spikes for level 6, definitely volatility for the mid lane. The Cutlass provides a lot of extra damage, but he's more so going for sustain with that Cutlass rather than kill pressure.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether he can actually get a chance to utilize that sustain. Of course, Choo Choo is going to be trying to get him away from that minion line quite effectively, but is the sort of general idea on this Zed to go for possibly a you know, Brutalizer is the next option here. Make sure you got as much damage, or do you like going towards that Blade of the Ruined King as a sort of rush item?
You go the Brutalizer. You need the raw armor penetration and damage output. But what I want to touch on the most, after we've just discussed the mid and bot lane and how volatile they could be, is the fact that one team has a Shen.
It's a good point.
Single target comp like what Sin are running, they've got Caitlyn, they've got Ryze, they've got Zed. Shen is almost the direct counter to that entire team in terms of skirmishing and lane phase. So right now, the level 6 power spikes favor Legacy infinitely across every lane except top lane, where the Ryze gets power against the Shen.
Well, I actually really like that as well, because a lot of these comps that are built around sort of negating a single target comp choose the likes of Lulu.
Yeah.
But what I love about it is the fact that, exactly right, Shen can be anywhere and give you that gigantic amount of extra health back, or effective health, if that makes sense. So I really like that idea as well.
Yeah, it doesn't need to use a teleport or anything offensively. Can use the ultimate teleport back to lane, perhaps.
Yeah.
It all depends on the scenario. And again, it just provides this utility to the Legacy lineup that they otherwise would not have had. The Lulu would have to use a teleport, and then top lane could either go completely downhill, or the Ryze could match it and be even footing. So the shield, the effective health, is going to be big, especially against that assassin in the mid lane. I don't think Rymeister will try his hand at a 1v1 unless Minky is completely stuck under tower from Ryze.
Yeah, is the problem here, though, for Minky is the fact that I guess if he's going to build against his lane opponent, he's going to grab a whole bunch of that MR. Does that give Rymeister a way to possibly 1v1 this Shen, or is he just going to have so much health that it's not going to be a thing?
I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue. You can see that Minky's going for that health crystal first, most likely going for the Balmy Cinder. So not going to be stacking magic resistance straight up front. Might go for the Merc Treads, but hello.
Yeah, Deathmark in the mid lane there as Rymeister does manage to get the exhaust out.
Doesn't even need the Shen ult in this case. Rymeister actually just using his ultimate to put down some damage and try and get a positive trade. Forces the exhaust. His ult will be up sooner.
Yeah, it's true. So I guess decent trade there for Rymeister. Just wanted to make sure that that summoner spell was on cooldown. And of course, inspire fear into Choo Choo, who now has a blue buff.
If there's one thing I've learned about Rymeister, is that when Zed's ult is off cooldown, he's probably going to use it.
Yeah, that has most definitely been a thing that we've learned.
It doesn't even really matter when. He dove a Nexus.
No. No, but Juves does look like he's going to be changing up the sort of Cinder Hulk fad that's been coming in. There's a longsword sitting in his back pocket, so going towards that warrior enchantment. So going to hit a bit of a spike there towards the mid game. Might even have towards the right amount for that item as well as we are moving through this game. And speaking of which, who do you think has sort of the team fight comp around this next dragon that's going to be sort of a point of contention very soon?
It's hard to pick who has directly got the best teamfight comp. I would put it to Legacy, almost 100%. But then you look at the side of Sin, and it is almost exclusively execution-based. The Lee Sin kick needs to be right. The Caitlyn and the Jana are both getting close to that level 6 stage. They're not actually there just yet, so the advantage is in favor of Legacy until that case.
Yep.
I mean, it does come down entirely to the execution of Sin. If they can get those single target spells onto the relevant sources, they will be able to come out ahead in almost any fight. But the exhaust being down also, Rymeister's ult just about to be up. Pretty good position to fight again.
That might be a decent idea. Of course, secondary exhaust in the hands of Flying Jew. Probably an understandable decision given the fact that Ryze is going to have a whole lot of damage output and Rymeister needs to be removed from the back line. Carbon going to be starting off a bit of a steal here.
Oh, he's going to kill the ward. It's going to actually take him such a long amount of time that he may not get there in time.
Actually, this blue buff getting quite low here. Oh my goodness, almost accidentally steals it away.
That would have been awesome.
But Carbon, that was risky.
Yep, risky, but also calculated to an extent. He could have easily backed out seeing Juice take that ward down, but he knew what he was doing, and what he wants to do right now is mid lane, and he's probably going to spot Juves on the translation.
Yeah, he also had that investment of course, the side stone as Carbon.
I wonder if he's going to blind body slam.
Counter gank. Not finding it in there just yet. Yeah,
he's taking your Raptors, mate.
Surprise. Carbon playing very cool, calm, and collected at the moment. Having just taken 2 buffs as well. Oh, Juice actually kills a minion with a Sonic Wave, upsetting. There's the Emperor's Divide, and Juice gets obliterated. Minky Whale even came in just to pick up the assist.
Yeah, Minky Whale getting a free assist there in the end. Has got a Banner of Command as his first item. Let that sink in, Atlas, and they're currently pushing the mid lane with a Banner of Command buffed cannon minion.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Right. So, Rusty, explain us.
I was waiting for the question.
Yeah, explain to us how strong Banner of Command for Shen is.
I mean, it's good for wave control. It gives you bonus damage to all of your minions.
Good.
That's something. I mean, what else does it provide? Not a whole lot.
What? The secondary stats, though.
Okay, here's the cool part about Banner of Command, right?
Okay.
You can buff a minion and Rosie can't kill it.
Hey, that's a good point.
There is like no way in the world that Rosie can take down that minion because he's almost exclusively magic damage based. So you throw down one minion and it's going to be a hero in that top lane.
Yeah, and there's absolutely no augmentation as well because you're building mana instead of AP or anything like that. Rhymeister is going to try and go back, but Carbon looking to find his way around. And Minkieware may have just found the genius maneuver. Nice slow there, but
Carbon
Chilling Smite going to be used onto Rhymeister there as the Death Mark to dodge out of the way of the barrel. The Ignite's down. Rhymeister does find his way to safety with a bit of calculated aggression.
Carbon actually miscalculating there and wasting his flash. No need for it, especially with Choo-Choo's just around the corner. He could have threatened more away from Rhymeister and maybe blown his flash instead.
Better to be safe than sorry.
Of course.
You know, if someone lights you on fire, I'm going to be trying to run away from them as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if someone promotes a cannon minion so that I can't hurt it, I'd probably want to teleport to another lane. But that's just me.
Well, Rosie is definitely considering it right now. He's very confused about what's going on. Banner of Command almost back up again. Cannon Wave just died, though, so Minkieware a little bit upset about that one.
Actually finding himself with a sizable CS lead in this top lane as well. I love this. Ingenious strategy here from Minkieware.
And he's the kind of guy that would mix it up as well to this level, is the Minkieware with the Banner of Command.
It's not Juice not killing a minion.
Baits Rhymeister into taking a whole bunch of damage from Choo-Choo's there as well.
On the bright side, he didn't kill the minion he Sonic Waved to.
Hey,
so
good, nailed it.
Managed to follow it up.
We've got improvements on the Rift here for Sin. Of course, 3,000 gold approximately the lead here for Legacy as they've played this early stage incredibly well. And it seems like they've just calculated leaving open the Rise. It was all part of their strategy as Cardrick is going to walk straight into the wall there as he flashes out of the way of Flying Dew. That was an interesting situation.
The flash was burned, so all in all, it is a win and nothing really used from the Legacy side besides the raw damage output from their basic spell. So the Dragon now a possibility, no flash. A bit of health missing on the Caitlyn, wouldn't really advise just straight up all-inning it. But Choo-Choo's in a fantastic position himself, has that Morello's completed, up against the two mid-game style items here from Rhymeister. But here we go. Can we just like watch the cannon and its progression through the...
Yeah, look at him controlling that minion.
It just gives Minkieware a position where he's almost free to farm because Rosie has to auto-attack it. Isn't it awkward?
It's so cute.
And it gives him the last hit. It's like Minky just missed that one. He got 44 extra gold.
Oh, wow, it does too.
Yeah.
Rosie's like,
come on, Rosie.
Come on, why can't I get it? Oh my goodness. Carbon making his way around, of course. Rhymeister with the Living Shadow is going to be more than fine, but they've lost the tower. Choo-Choo's probably looking to set up a Sun turret in its stead.
If they can set up the Sun turret, it's a lot easier for them to rotate immediately to the Dragon, but unable to do so because Rhymeister being very aggressive in his stance. And instead, they just started up.
Yeah. Immediately, Legacy going to be moving on that one. Of course, Stand United is available from Minkieware as Juice does pop at least a Sonic Wave over. Lee Syndrome not kicking in just yet, so Juice deciding not to go for any sort of steal here. Oh my goodness, that Howling Gale looked incredibly close. But Carbon not to be outsmited this time around. As, what was his excuse for not getting the Baron in that in the last game?
Oh, there was a Callista in the game.
Ah, that was it.
I mean, it's valid.
I don't know whether that was...
But I don't think Callista was hitting the Baron. So
yeah.
let's not dwell on that too much.
I don't remember. Maybe there was something that happened. But I remember there was an excuse, and Carbon would never miss a smite if it wasn't for that. As Death Mark is going to be used onto Choo-Choo's here. Emperor's Divide into the wall, though. Rhymeister takes a turret shot, but he's going to be able to get to safety relatively easily.
And you're witnessing the nerf of the Z Ultimate having an effect on that 1v1 right there. There is no direct outplay when you have a 1 second buffer between returning to your shadow. The Emperor's Divide connecting, knocking him under the turret, forcing a cancellation of that trade. Choo-Choo's coming out ahead from a Z Ultimate, engaging on his terms when the Azir Q was down.
Yeah, well, I guess it's still an ult for ult trade, but a little bit more cooldown reduction built for Choo-Choo is going to mean that he may have that Emperor's Divide up a little bit sooner for use in another fight. But there's a Trinity Force, I'm telling you.
This is a big difference, though, I want to talk about, because look at the items on Cardred and compare that to the items on Tally. We were talking about when are they going to have the big power spikes? When is that going to occur in favor of Legacy at all? Generally speaking, it's not. But because of the item discrepancy right now, the difference with only the Infinity Edge coming out now has resulted in a 30 CS lead for Legacy in this bot lane.
Yeah, and this is something that Spawn spoke about. He was like, Corki's just better in this lane. And I didn't get it. Because he just doesn't have much range, but I guess there's just something about being able to do a lot more damage.
It's not about the range. It's more the fact that you can auto-attack with a little bit of an extra bonus damage and have the Phosphorus Bomb. It forces the Caitlyn to walk into a Phosphorus Bomb to have a positive trade. And that's where you start to come out ahead as Corki. If the Caitlyn commits to that trade with the Janna shield, that's popped by the bomb, and then you've got a Gatling gun. So there's always a position in a prolonged trade that favors the Corki. It's more so the fact that Cardred can walk up to you, hit you once, throw out a Q if he likes, and just whittle away at your health, and that's where where Cardred on Caitlyn starts to come out big.
Well, Tallywacker now forced into his turret, so still only 17 creeps the advantage for Tallywacker. So nothing to really write home about. Infinity Edge now completed for Cardred as well. As Jubes is going to find Carbon. Does have, of course, a Brutalizer there, almost towards that Warrior Enchant.
I would almost want to stop the Warrior Enchantment at this stage as Jubes. He hasn't been able to make something happen. He has kept up in farm compared to the Gragas, and is very close to having that Warrior Enchant completed, but...
Oh, Minky, well, he's going to get caught there. There's all of the damage from these carries, and Rosie, he is going to lock down the kill in the end. Legacy are going to be able to take down the bottom outer turret, and they're immediately there to make that trade. Top lane still alive for now, but might be taken down.
Minky has the teleport. Ryze actually recalling, so they're not going to go for that turret. Minky quite content with just getting back to the lane eventually. Everything resets. All in all, Legacy taking a turret. Rymeister finally realizing that he might want to take one of his own.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of damage down onto this.
That's gone.
Yeah, that is definitely dead. As Minky not even going to be able to teleport there in time. Cutting off the way back to the lane is Rymeister, and he's just going to clear this one through as well. Legacy, though, waste no time. They're just going to clear out these minions in the mid lane as well. Keep everything shoved forward. And you can see already Sin have been reacting with a lot of vision, but Legacy just owning the Dragon area.
Yeah, Legacy finding control around this bottom half of the map, whereas the Zed and between Rosie with the pink ward control as well in the top lane have been able to find themselves an abundance of kills or control and just pressure around there. Choo Choo's having to react, oftentimes blind, just to Rymeister disappearing from the mid lane. Has forced a lot of control and contention around the top side of the map, but only one kill so far against this now Warmog's Banner of Command Shen. Minky, you're just insane.
Yeah, and I love the Warmog's pickup here, of course, because you're going to be up against mixed damage in a split push scenario. It could be Rosie, it could be Rymeister, so why not just build flat health?
Currently seeing.
Yeah, well, Jubes is there at the same time.
Rymeister is looking to find these kills though. It's hitting the point now where Rymeister has that Blade of the Ruin King and a pickaxe completed. He's ramping up in terms of his damage in a raw 1v1 really, really massively. Shen having a Warmog, it's nearly impossible to actually trade with him, but he is so tanky.
Yeah, well, the Death Mark comes through. Minky is going to burn the flash. Jubes takes a whole bunch of damage.
Did he buy a full Warmogs, by the way? No.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he went back and built
a
a full Warmogs. Yeah,
okay.
That's pretty standard.
So that was actually Minky's bad for dying earlier because he had that much gold backed up in his savings and loses a turret for it, but he's currently being very aggressive himself, actually.
Well, it certainly is. Rymeister actually trying to fight back here. Cannon creep, of course, gigantic. Rosie's going to take down Choo Choo's, though, and Flying Jew going to get knocked up. Trash Mode playing very aggressively as Rosie trying to come back around. There's the aggressive play from Flash Mode as he gets
that backfired.
The Flash Boat, actually, as he gets headbutted back into the team and destroyed, and the rest of Sin not going to be able to follow up.
An aggressive Monsoon actually puts Alistar behind the Janna, who then just used the headbutt pulve combo. And they find themselves with a free kill and everything burned from this Janna. All in all, they find a 1-for-1. Choo Choo's did go down though, and that's a big bonus. Ryze has swapped lanes with Rymeister at the moment because they have ramped up in strength. Rymeister excels at split pushing, whereas Ryze is always going to be good at team fighting at this stage.
Well, Rymeister is going to be able to get out of there, and Minky going to get juked just a little bit underneath this turret. One thing that I do love about Banner of Command is that it builds out of Aegis of the Legion.
Yeah, it's always
so you're still going to have the extra magic resistance. Cardred is going to be forced to flash, uses the net as well to try and get himself away. Tallywacker goes solo, and Rosie is huge on this rise.
Oh,
Minky trying to find his way back in, but he can't save Tallywacker. Rosie is just going to lock him down there with the Rune Prison. Of course, Minky pretty tanky, but Tallywacker not so much.
No, the talking point of Legacy right now is definitely going to be Choo Choo's. Has that death cap completed. Going to be working towards that zone use as his third item. A very aggressive item by a Choose is going to be doing lots of damage, but he's going to be taking lots.
Yeah. Well, already the aggression from Trashboat not ending whatsoever. Sin going to get a whole bunch of wards around this dragon area, and Choo Choo's forced to clear out underneath this outer turret. So this dragon going down so fast. Rosie just powering through with these spells. And Sin going to answer 1-1 in dragons. We've got a close game on our hands here, Rusty.
We touched on the fact that Sin have a lot of single target damage, and it's going to come down to that execution again. We have ourselves a super close game, but Rosie being 3-0 is a massive talking point for this Sin lineup. The fact that one of the only champions in the game that... Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, no, says Zed.
He's been, yeah. Right. Anyway, that was... Yeah, someone died. Moving on. The single target lineup here of Sin, seeing evidently not going to plan sometimes. Rymeister going down, but Rise...
It's hit or miss, Rusty.
It is hit or miss, and that's execution based. We saw a lack of execution just there.
Yeah, Rosie is going to burst through this.
My God.
Oh, no. Minkuel just going to use that Kai Strike to lock that one down, as well as Rosie is going to get a Rune Prison there, but Minkuel, there ain't no damage he's taking.
Is it Kai or Key? I think it's Key Strike.
Yeah, but he's not hitting him with a key.
Well, he's not hitting him with a Kai. That's a person's name. Person's name.
Dun, 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 dun. Not sure. Anyway, let's get back on track. The spell of his passive that augments his auto attack. Gonna be able to take that one down as Choo Choo's gonna head forward here, and they are gonna be able to take down this turret. Eye of the Storm, non-withstanding, and that is what the hell? Minkuel is going for like full siege mode.
He's breaking the meta right now. That is
siege
what he's
unit
doing.
Shen.
The goal is to never die. The goal is to split push, Banner of Command, and potentially a ZZ Rock Portal. We'll see what that actually becomes.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing.
Let's just wait.
Oh, there's the explosive cast, but Cardred is going to be able to use that net to get himself away. Stand United was used as well, as Legacy had a clear idea, and it clearly didn't work.
No, they did have the execution in mind, but when they tried to put it into effect, nothing actually coming from it. Gragas knocking them all away as the Shen ultimate connected on top of Carbon, but then they're all so far away that he kind of just had to retreat back to his own devices. And Rymeister split pushing probably going to be able to get this turret. In the meanwhile, Legacy stuck defending against 4 members and unable to engage now.
Yeah, not quite getting there. Minkuel going to get caught up a bit, but it's not worth talking about.
He's not really taking any damage at the moment. The talking point will be the fact that that turret has in fact gone down.
Split push successful.
Sin find themselves a small advantage in this. My biggest concern for this Sin lineup is going to be Juice though. He's gone for that Warrior's Enchantment. When there are 2 hyper carries on their team, he needs some tanky items as soon as possible.
I think he'll be probably trying to go for them a little bit later, but not going to get there now. Cardred just experimenting with his abilities on Caitlyn, just making sure that he uses the Piltover Peacemaker first, and then netting out, but hits no one with either.
Yeah.
At this point. Well, Minkuel still just going to be split pushing. He's going to be in the bottom side, just clearing up what was some extra minions that came in there. Rosie going to take the blue buff, and it is a point of contention, of course, whether or not you give it to Ryze or to Zed there in the mid lane, but does look to be going to the mana user, and that makes sense, but yeah, Rymeister going to wish that he had more energy.
Rymeister split pushing is a big factor as to why the blue buff is going to be going to Rosie. He finds himself in a position where you don't really need a blue buff for extra energy regeneration when you're, for the most part, just hitting minions. So
yeah,
they give that to Ryze. He's going to be very happy with that blue buff, and 3-0-0 has his Rod of Ages almost stacked, 9 out of 10, and an Archangel Staff.
Would you give him that? 9 out of 10?
It is 9 out of 10. I'm not rating him. It's actually stacked 9 out of 10 times.
All right. I was going to say, I mean, I don't think it's that good. Anyway, Rosie going to help clear out this mid lane as well. Rymeister going to continue his work here on the top side. Minkuel trying to answer that, but not going to be there in time as Rymeister with his Blade of the Ruined King easily able to lock this one down. The rest of Sin now looking to clear up some vision around this map. Of course, Legacy with a lot of vision everywhere. But is that sort of over-warding here at this stage? They're not going to be at all those points of the map. They're not going to be looking for Sin around.
They're warding on the bottom side of the map for the Dragon.
Well, Emperor's Divide's there, but Choo-Choo's unable to get everyone out of there. Nice stand
wow.
United, but Trash Boat getting destroyed here. Nice use of the Monsoon's going to help him out for now, but Choo-Choo's eventually gets that kill down. Flying Jew tries to get the Pulverize, but it's not found. The two carries now trying to do some work, but Choo-Choo's just poking them from range. Cardred over the side. There's the flash from the taunt. Minky Well with the Blaze Carbon as well coming in there as Rymeister just says, okay, you got some fancy moves. I'm still going to kill you. Rymeister's going to flash out of the way as well. That's a second one there as Cardred just going to get exploded by Legacy.
Of fancy moves though, Zed going massive in that fight. Rymeister finding himself some kills, but they go
Rosie
down.
is never without this annoying creep that doesn't take damage.
It's just the worst. Rise has found himself in the trolliest game of his life. I now hope that it's a ZZ Rock portal because I've never looked at a side that does physical damage and thought, oh, I'm going to get a Raptor's Cloak because that sounds like a good idea.
Well, the thing is, I love ZZ Rock Portal in the rest of his build because it gives you flat resistances on top of what is, you know, a gigantic amount of health in that Warmog's armor. It sort of makes sense, especially when you're running a shield and for effective health it works.
I can't argue with you.
That's the worst part, isn't it? That's the worst part.
I like it, okay? I like the fact that he's going for a ZZ Rock portal. It plays to Shen perfectly. We're going to see this fight again. You can see Choo-Choo's already taken a lot of damage, finds the kill on the side there. Rymeister trying to put down some damage, but the poke from Choo-Choo's is enough to push them all the way. This is great. Follow it with another flash body slam. Rymeister finds himself getting flashed on for days, but turns it around, outplays them completely, gets a kill on the Carbon, almost gets out here, but they get the kill on the Dew, and only just going down at the very end there to Tallywhacker as he finally made his way into the fight at the very end.
Yeah, nicely though, from Sin, they were able to kill out a lot of creeps there on the top side of the map, and the kill score still relatively close. So 4,000 gold the lead for Legacy now, and Minky are going to start off this Dragon. With now that Warden's Mail.
He does so much damage with his passive, just from having that much health from the Warmog. It's obnoxious, to say the least. I mean, this Minky Whale, this Shen, it's certainly interesting.
Yeah, it's like buddy system Shen. I don't know. I don't know how to coin it.
Would we say that the Banner of Command is a direct counter to Rise?
It does certainly look like that.
It's worth considering.
As far as a 1v1 situation is concerned. What the heck?
He has only bought a Seeker's Arm Guard since the last fight.
Oh, Juice is actually going to get knocked back. Choo-Choo's there again with more Rise damages. Carbon actually surrounded by 3 members. Rosie making his way in, but Rymeister going to get caught by the combo. They're going to slow him down, but in the end, it's just a little attack from a Sand Soldier, and Rymeister is going to make it out.
Sin have themselves an opportunity now. They find themselves with a window where they can maybe pick a fight. The last Whisper completely finished here. Blade of the Ruin King for Zed. The Zed is massive. The Rise, I don't need to say it multiple times. He is beyond massive at this stage. And even the Caitlyn, Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge starting to ramp up, getting closer to that 3-item stage where Cardred will become unstoppable. Now, the Zonya's not being completed by Choo-Choo's is the big factor in this. If they can engage onto the Azir, then Sin will be able to handily win a fight, very easily win a fight in their favor. If they don't engage onto Choo-Choo's, if they can't blow him up through what is going to be a Shen ult, on top of a Choo-Choo's mobility, gets that extra shield from his E if it connects, then Legacy will be able to out-sustain them.
Oh, Cardred as well, just going to get chunked out and destroyed. Choo-Choo's with the catch play. Minky Whale was there because he just wanted to be.
That ult was off cooldown, I have to use it.
Yeah, got to get himself an assist. It's sort of like the Soraka tactic, isn't it?
Yeah.
0, 1, and 5, though. You can't really take it away from him, and Legacy going to transition it into a Baron, or at least try to now. It's incredibly low. That's going to go down as Carbon smites that one away. Minky Well just going to Shadow Dash over. May have actually corralled the rest of Sin into an ungainly position here as Minky Well going to get caught up for a moment, but there's the taunt. Rosie getting taken down so low. He does flash himself away. Might be fast enough with the tailwind. And Sin will be safe for now.
Yeah, they're actually going to get out perfectly fine. Rymeister caught in the back of the Baron pit area when that was going down, so there was no way Sin could turn around and find a fight in their favor. Maybe get some Baron buffs off a particular member of Legacy. Instead, they're going to back away and just do their best attempt at running. Having a Janna on your team, very helpful for that. And they get out with their lives here. Time for Sin to reset though. They've just given up the Baron. after a pick onto a very important member of Sin, which should not have happened. They now need to find a team fight, utilize the small window that they do have. It's going to be near impossible now to kill this Azir. They have to work on taking out Tallywhacker. It's going to come down to if Rymeister can either split push or team fight well enough, and if Rosie can go off.
The thing that's ridiculous, though, is the fact that Tallywhacker is so far ahead. He's got a Bloodthirster and a Last Whisper on top of that Trinity Force from earlier on. He's got that overshield, and this Corki's going to be difficult to kill in his own right, not to mention the fact that he's got this cow running around helping him out there. I mean, Rymeister able to take a blue buff.
One thing that Legacy is super good at is controlling objectives and placing wards down and just being able to watch where the members of the opposition team tend to want to go. Now, every single member of Legacy is ahead by 30 odd CS, if not more.
Oh my goodness.
And that's a Baron buff, Banner of Command, cannon minion. It's going to take down anything that it wants.
Look at that guy.
It's a beast.
I haven't seen the animations of a creep like this before.
It's actually
just because it's never been that huge.
Like, size-wise, it's bigger than Mickey, isn't it?
It's almost bigger than Dragon.
Stay there, please.
Oh, but Legacy just going to take down the mid.
Oh my god.
Inhibitor turret as well. His inhibitor is most definitely going to fall afterwards, and I just love this tactic from the Minky Whale Shen that he's brought into this game. He's
still going.
He's 40 CS ahead as well, as he's going to take down the turret.
Oh, efficiency on item buys, though.
Oh, man.
It's actually so smart. It's not something you consider saying ever in your life, but super smart. The fact they can walk in and take the mid lane inhibitors essentially uncontested because they have to address Minky in the top lane. Smart play from all of Legacy, but it is on the back of actually having the Shen available, and their drafting has been playing very well to their strengths.
Yeah, it's definitely working out here. I believe they don't have a cannon creep in this particular wave, but Minky Whale will have that Banner of Command up for the next wave that comes in. Sun turret going to fall down as Sin try and get everything that they can back, but look at that turret melt, that Trinity Force on this Corki, really giving them the ability to take it down, plus the Arise damage from Azir. And Legacy have just been playing this game so well as a unit.
Yeah, working around when they are stronger than the side of Sin. As Sin are looking for something.
Cheeky smite from Carbon makes his way out.
Yeah, chilling smite there to try and dissuade them, but it doesn't seem to be working just yet. They may be looking for a fight. Rymeister wants to come around, perhaps, and flank them.
Something for Sin. Might be a desperation play, as Rymeister may have just found himself in a position he doesn't want to be in. Rosie is definitely strong on this rise. He's going to catch Carbon out of position. Body Slam going to find Trash Botus. He's going to have to flash away. Juves wants to try and help someone out. Is Ghostblade going to be used by Rymeister, but Flying Jew's going to cop the brunt of, I guess, the fear damage from Rymeister as he gets out.
Yeah, nothing actually coming from that. Sin trying to make something happen, knowing that this situation that they're in right now is going to get more and more dire. The chances of them winning this game starting to decrease. As finally, our Rot Portal has come to fruition. We've now got the full split push Minky. Can't wait to see where he actually plays.
Yeah, I was actually upset about the fact that he was sort of looking like he was going towards that Randuin's Omen instead.
Yeah.
But the Zizirot portal comes out. Raptor Cloak completed into that item as Minky Whale, looking for a cheeky taunt if he wants to.
He's actually so far ahead that he probably decided the Rot Portal was the ideal next buy instead of finishing the Randuin.
No, it's the split push build. And what does Shen not have? Wave clear. What do you need for wave clear? I guess more minions on your side. That'll work.
Well, hey, here's me thinking Balmy Cinder or a Static Shiv perhaps.
Nah, that's ridiculous, man.
That doesn't make any sense when you can go for a Banner of Command and
but
buff
the actual,
your minions.
like the flat statistics on a Zizirot portal and, of course, the Banner of Command are really good.
Yeah, no, they're actually really good. You've got the Aegis, of course, which is amazing. It allows Carbon to go for flat armor or a flat resistance of his choice instead of being confined by the locket first buy. So in terms of items, oh, that's clever, but it's actually going to the wrong lane. I guess it's to keep the minions in their place right now. Rosie having to deal with every individual Rot minion as the rest of Legacy make their way with a Banner of Command and Cannon minion.
Another one making his way in. He's going to get smited, or smoked. Most definitely, as Minky Whale just going to continue split pushing. Actually, some damage onto Minky Whale, forced to use the flash. Rymeister flashing after him there. Does get over the wall as Juice is going to get taken down in the bottom lane. Legacy fighting on so many fronts that Sin cannot deal with it.
And the Rot Portal is still making stuff happen in the mid lane. It's just so weird to say. Rymeister having to deal with it.
Look at them just popping out. Little void spawn. Oh, no. Legacy. They're protecting it. Oh, there's the Shadow Dash. Tallywhacker with so much burst damage. Flashes forward as he dodges out of the way. The Phosphorus Bomb, I believe, but it's not going to be enough as that was timed so cheekily by Choo Choo's. Carbon did fall down, as did Flying Jew, though, as they were protecting their Zizzy Rock
Yeah,
portal.
I mean, the end result is the Rock Portal lives. So, all in all, a win for Legacy overall,
Oh, most
I would
definitely.
say. But,
most definitely.
I mean, I do have to, again, question Juice's decision in terms of itemization. He had
They're so cute.
the makings of a really big tanky item. I mean, it's just distracting me. I can't even make points right now.
Well, hi, guys.
It doesn't sound like that.
Yeah, they do.
Apparently, okay.
Hi, Juice.
Juice, you can't cue it, mate.
Oh, yeah, that's not actually a minion. Dude's trying to go for it. No, he's just stacking his passive, guys. Okay, he knows. 25 gold, though, for the Zizzy Rock portal. He's almost back off cooldown again, though. Minky definitely going to say that that was a worthwhile decision. And,
This game is confusing. I just have a lot of questions.
it's
Max.
just Minky man. It's just Minky
Let's take a look at what is actually happening besides Minky Whale's items or Minky Whale in general, okay? We're looking at Legacy commanding everywhere on the map. They very easily took the mid inhibitor, they took the top inhibitor, they pressured bottom with the Rock Portal, and now they're looking to go back to the Baron. Shen able to do as he pleases right now, super tanky. The rest of Legacy though, this is Azir essentially unstoppable. This Corki's super fed.
Yeah, Rymeister finding his way in. There's the death mark, but he's going to get punted out. Tallywhacker actually utilizing the wall here as Rosie was trying to close in on them. Carbon forced to get out of here as the Baron hasn't been taken just yet. Sand Soldier's doing some work, zoning out Sin. No one dead just yet as Carbon super low. Can't actually get back into this fight. Multiple ultimates now down. Rosie's is available, though, and it might be the time for the Rise to shine.
Right, Rosie actually is such a big threat in that fight that nothing could be achieved by Legacy. Zoning out Azir and the Corki as they finally go back to this Baron, and there is no Rosie.
Yeah, they are going to use the Scrying Orb there. Legacy not going to be deterred. They know that the Rise is a little bit too far away. Oh, Jew's actually going to get headbutted out as Minky maybe out of position just a bit, but okay, I'm going to catch those words because he's so tanky. He's just going to be able to Shadow Dash himself away, but Legacy, they just can't seem to do the Baron.
This is the chance for Sin to come back. The gold difference is not that big right now. Both inhibitors have respawned. If ever there was a chance for them to really make some work once they actually take down these minions that are just being big pests on their Nexus.
Pesky minions, man.
They'll find themselves in a position where everything has essentially reset. They've got a 5-0 rise. If anyone can carry them through this game, it is the hyper-scaling, hyper-carry Rosie on that rise.
Well, he's got a lot on his shoulders now. He's picked himself up an extra book so he can read up on that one. The scroll in his backpack was not quite enough. And he's also got that elixir as well. They're looking to try and find a fight. As Minky just putting some pressure on the bottom side. Where is he going to put
Okay, so
his
that's
Zero
actually
portal?
really clever. The fact he's going to put down that there, right? He's got the banner of commanded minion in the bot lane. He'll just rotate towards the top, most likely, and pressure both inhibitors while someone has to deal with that eventually. But in saying that, Rymeister's being a pesky Zed, and it probably will stop that from happening.
Do the Zizirot minions
actually
attack champions?
Yes.
Do they?
I think they ignore champions, actually. Never mind.
Okay. So
If
it's not going to
Minky
help him in the
lives
1v1.
Then Legacy are in a good spot. If Minky dies right now, then they're in a horrible spot.
Well. Speaking of which, Minky just going to Shadow Dash his way over the wall. Living Shadow not available for Rymeister, so that will be that. But Minky going to have to stop the split foot push for now. Stand United still available, as is the teleport, so Minky is going to be able to move himself around. Choo-Choo's goes on a merry ride in the mid lane. There's the exhaust. Rymeister gets destroyed, and what the heck was that arc?
Choo-Choo's going massive right there, getting the Azir second, knocking the Zed into the rest of the team. Basically carrying his team to a potential finish, or at the very least 2 inhibitors right now, as the Sin have no response without Zed.
That was hilarious. Like the curveball, it was like he was trying to be a Diana Q.
It just adds to the theme of this entire game.
It does. It's all just, seems like it's
what?
more like art rather than a game. This one, like the item build creativity from Minky
Interpretive
Choo-Choo's just, interpretive dancing his way across the rift.
It's not direct art, it's questionable, but it is definitely. That's just, they have a Rock Portal and the Azir Suntower.
Oh, my only question is, where can I go to learn this? This is beautiful.
I believe one of these members happens to stream. I'm not going to Anyway.
Wow, direct shout out there from Minky Whale Street.
Oh, he's tried again.
Looking for a fight. He's going to find Trash Boat so much damage now with these 4 items as Juves. Yep, that Warrior enchantment really not helping him. The flash into this Shadow Dash as Rosie's actually going to try and get some health back here with his ultimate. He's doing a lot of work, actually, but Trash Boat going to fall down. Tallywhacker's flashing forward. Triple kill for the Corki as Chilling Smites on Rosie, and everyone piles on. A quadra kill now for Tallywhacker. Rymeister falling down. Is the pentakill going to come through for Legacy as Rymeister's trying to flash? One more pentakill for Tallywhacker, and Legacy, they'll ride that to the game finish.
And what a way to end the game. Everything happening randomly all at once, but a pentakill coming out from Tallywhacker. They force the fight around the Baron, and again, they catch people out of position. The vision control, rotational play out of Legacy. Super impressive this game. They come up with their 2nd win against Sin.
Utterly incredible stuff. My goodness. Legacy with some interesting plays, interesting item builds. Everything about that game just made me smile. Just congratulations, basically.
Worked out exactly how they had planned it. The Shen, a pocket pick against the single target team comp of Sin. A master stroke here from Minky Whale. Finds the weirdest item build possible and makes it work. On top of that, Legacy, they just commanded the game.
They did. And from start to finish. And what I loved about it was the fact that they knew exactly how to make that team comp work. Often you'll see a lot of teams that'll pick up this new strategy and you'll sort of just not see why it was picked. We understood exactly why Legacy went for that, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah, they made the team comp seem like it was entirely planned, and that's because it was. Shout out to their coaches, of course, for a fantastic draft, and well done from Legacy to find themselves a win.
Yeah, really fantastic work. But we're going to throw it back out to Pastry Time and Spawn, who are waiting to close out the day.
Thank you very much, Atlas and Rusty. And what a way to end our final game. Congratulations, Legacy. Tied for 2nd place with the Dials, but a pentakill Spawn to finish it all off.
Yeah, I don't know what was more impressive. The fact that they had a Shen running around the Rift with a Zrock portal and
Banner of Command.
Banner of Command, or the fact that Tallywhacker able to come up with an absolutely monstrous performance to carry his team through.
Well, it's been a crazy and fun day so far in Week 5. Let's check in with the day results now as well. You can see there the winners here, Avant and Chiefs to kick things off in our top 2, and then the Dials winning with the sum, and Legacy pulling out the last one.
Yeah, and if you want any more information about today's games, you want to go back, check out any of the highlights of the VODs, head over to that website, oce.lolesports.com.
And look, you absolutely want to check those out. But with that, we are done for today. Week 5 day number 1 is in the books, and it's been very, very fun. So for myself, Spawn, Atlas, Rusty, and our entire live production team, we'll see you on Thursday as the OPL continues.